All right, and we are officially live for our second episode of Agatha All Along's Coven Chat, dealing with episode 3. So I am LJ, and this is Wynn from Bleeding Rainbow Comics. Joining us today are Megan and Finn. I'm going to let them plug themselves for a hot second, and then we will get started with Agatha All Along. So Megan, what about you first?
Hello, I am Megan. I'm from Vigilante Vibes, a Marvel podcast where we give you all the Marvel information in a non-toxic way. And I am assistant editor at I'm so tired, nerdinitiative.com, where we review comics, movies, TV shows, and we're also very non-toxic. So check me out there as well.
Wonderful. What about you, Finn /Starlet?
Hi, I'm Finn. I'm a drag queen that goes by Starlet as well. And I'm a huge Marvel nerd, a huge witchcraft nerd, so this is perfectly up my alley. And yeah, I am also non-toxic, so come check me out.
We all sound like shampoos. Yes, I'm not toxic. I can be consumed. So, yeah. I should not have said any of that. All right, so getting into the actual episode. So yesterday, during the episode, I believe it actually was, I want to give a little disclaimer at the beginning of this video for anybody either watching it live or post that, yes, there are spoilers that have been released for the Funko Pops for this show. We will not be discussing those for those of us in the chat around here that have seen them. We're going to pretend that we did not. I personally have not. I know that Finn has not. So if anything comes up that might be related to it, then Wynn and Megan are just not allowed to talk about it if it has anything to do with the Funko spoilers. But Finn and I can theorize all we want because we have no idea. So going on to it, we can just walk through this episode, and if you have anything that you want to talk about or any favorite moments or anything like that, just butt in, interrupt me whenever, because I will incessantly ramble forever. So we start this episode. They arrive on the road with Sharon freaking out about how it is now a kidnapping. And you can call her Sharon or Mrs. Hart. I don't know what I'll be calling her throughout this breakdown.
I've been referring to her as Kitty Hart.
Kitty Hart also. I would say my thing to take off from this scene is when she wanders off, she yells back at them, "Don't touch me," which we actually heard Lilia in one of her visions or her divinations. That's one of the ones that she had from the first couple of episodes. I believe it was when Agatha and Teen were in her shop, and she just, "Don't touch me."
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty neat. Does anybody else have anything to add about before we get to the actual beach house?
So I thought that I thought she had said, "Get off me," Kitty Hart. We'll call her Kitty. That Kitty Hart said, "Get off me." So I got thrown for a loop for a bit, and then I had to rewatch episode 2 to realize, no, she did say, "Don't touch me," because I was like, "Oh, it's a near miss." But
I was about to say, dang it, the first thing that I say is going to be wrong. Also, Blake Hickman in the chat says, "I still call her Kitty." It's okay, Blake. We all do.
My man, she's always Kitty. I don't care.
And spoiler alert, it doesn't matter what you call her anymore.
Ooh, spicy.
Jump into the end. It's okay. The whole joke of her character is that nobody calls her by Sharon anyways. So why should we?
It's true.
It's just in the spirit of the show. We're channeling our inner Agatha. But yes, we do learn rule number 1 of the road, as according to the ballad, don't step off of the road. Or else apparently it just tries to eat you. And that poor purse from Talbot's had to take one for the team for everybody to figure that out. Anybody have anything else to add before we get to the beach house?
I loved that her purse was from Talbot's. That is such a Sharon Hart thing to buy and to idolize as a purse from Talbot's. Like, she's just so suburban white mom, and I love her so much. She's incredible.
Yes, I love it. It's just I think that every line that Deborah Jo Rupp has had in these first 3 episodes are absolutely worth the screen time. Like, okay, he's gonna go let the dog out. He's being whiny.
Oh,
Both of
I thought
them.
he's like, I am done with this. I actually don't like Sharon, so I'm out.
I
No way,
hate
no.
Talbots. No, our dog is literally just standing right here screaming to go outside, even though he just went out before the live. So yeah, sorry, super unprofessional.
Oh, good. We're not professional here. I mean, Finn might be, but like,
No.
I'm just a fan who likes talking about witchy stuff.
sure enough.
But I was about to say, fan and I make comics. Other than that, I'm just trying to enjoy the vibe with everybody. But no, I do really like everything that Deborah Jo Rupp has in her episodes. It just feels super important and super necessary, even though it never actually contributes anything other than just character. But going on to this beach house, we learned that it is the water phase of the moon. So I'm assuming that that's why the water trial stuff comes in toward the end of the episode. And of course, it's Teen, the only person that's not an actual, well, other than Mrs. Hart. That is not the real witch that is identifying all of this witch stuff. And then going inside, another golden quote from Sharon Davis: "Bury me in that kitchen." And then
they said,
careful.
"If you ask, I sure will."
Yeah, the road said, "Okay, let's go there." Blake says, "I'm loving the shady mysteriousness Agatha is giving off, making us trying to keep figuring out her secrets." And I totally agree with that. Can you please go let him in? And
You just sat down.
Our dog was super nice for the whole first episode of Coven Chat, and now I think he got all of that patience out all in one sitting. So we're gonna see. But no, I totally agree. I think she's being super shady in this episode, and we see things that she doesn't let the rest of the Coven know. But also at the same time, I think that she's keeping some stuff from the viewers as well. Is there any part, I guess we'll branch conversation a little bit. Is there any part of this episode that you feel that Agatha was hiding something from the viewer as well? And any theories that might arise from it?
No, I think she's figuring out some secrets she doesn't know about, because I think Rio is very involved with her and has been for a really long time. So she's trying to figure out, just like she was trying to figure out who Teen was and what's his deal before telling everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I myself have also been involved with Aubrey Plaza for a very long time. But no, I agree. I think that whether it's repression or just stuff that she doesn't know already, I do think that we're learning along with her. And I think that that's kind of what I like about it. Like,
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go for it. Like I said, interrupt me at any time. Everybody gets to hear me talk all the time.
I was gonna throw out like this theory, so just hear me out. I don't think Agatha's been on the road before.
That's actually one of the questions I was going to ask you guys.
Yeah.
So that wonderful segue. Thank you. Who all think that that Agatha has been on the road before?
I'll let Megan go and then I'll say my piece.
Hello. I am Megan, as Matt Roth says, the GOAT. And
you are the greatest of all time.
I know. Why do you not think she's been on the road? Because this is one theory I haven't heard and I need to hear. Also, your skin is wildly beautiful and I hate you for it.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. It's all makeup. It's the drag. That's what it is.
Just hush. Just hush.
Well, I have my notes over here, so I'm gonna read those a little bit.
Yes.
When they first arrive in the second episode, the way that she looks, like if I had been like the super powerful witch who had been on the road before, conquered it, like got what I most desired, when I got back on the road, I would not be as uneasy as she was. Like, she's constantly kind of like looking around and being kind of nervous. I personally, if I was in her place, would have been like, oh, let's crush it. I've been here before. So that was kind of immediately throwing me off. But she also says this episode that there's a trial for each skill. And the little witchy in me was like, that doesn't make full sense, because if we're following the moon cycles, like we saw on the door, there's 8 cycles and there's 4 skills. So I don't see that lining up. I understand that you could do 2 per, but I feel like that wouldn't be the case since they have all of the moons around the door that like follow the proper order.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a little bit suspicious. But also she didn't drink the wine, and that kind of makes me believe like she didn't know that she couldn't cheat to get out of it.
Yeah.
So like the
Well,
combo of
and
those things,
She
and
also
her
tried
being
to bust the like. If she had been there before, why would she even have attempted to bust the glass?
I was
She
gonna
would have
say-
knew that she couldn't get out of it.
I actually agree with you. I do not think that she's been on the road before. She is not confident in what she's doing. She seems like she's making rookie mistakes that if she had been on the road before, she would know that you can't, like, this is the water trial. You can't bust the windows. We will all drown and die. And she's just too hesitant to do anything. And
It's
I
like
think that if she
she-
was on the road before, she would have drank that wine, no problem.
Yeah, she's like using them as guinea pigs.
Which,
Yeah.
Okay.
fair.
Listen, people with your smartness. I think she has been on the road before, but I don't think we're all remembering that she was under the possession of the Darkhold. She might have gone down the road, but she might not know how she got down the road. Does that make
That's
sense?
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So like Wanda and Multiverse, it takes all of your biggest insecurities and darkness and amplifies it, and then kind of hides everything else. I do want to jump over to the chat a little bit. Because we've missed quite a few. Blake says, how about when they go in the house and it's styled from Big Little Lies? And when Kitty says in the background, have you seen Huge Tiny Lies? I also thought that was amazing. Matt says, also, they said the name.
They did.
So yes, we
Oh
did
my
get a
gosh.
Mephisto name drop, and we're gonna come back to that here in a little bit. Hat and Purple Lights are wicked dope, by the way. Love that vibe. So of course, Finn's getting all the
Thank you.
compliments. Jason says,
You
"Hey,
should.
Megan,"
Hey, Jason.
and Matt says, "I'm convinced Agatha hasn't been on the road. Also, each trial has got to be a way witches have died, like drowning, fire, etc." Which I actually really like. That was really cool.
Yeah,
At the end, where they had to climb into the oven
Yeah.
and almost drown, which is another.
I
way.
thought
So we're
that
just-
I thought that was a callback to Hansel and Gretel with the evil witch.
I did too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Woo.
think it was.
Oh,
Because she was like, she had such a nice house.
She had such a nice house, such a huge oven, which I'm jealous of. It was way cleaner than my oven, even with humans crawling through it.
I want that sink though. Oh, that sink was beautiful.
Right?
Ugh.
I want that house. I would take all of the Witches Road shit that happened in that house if I got to live in that house.
I'll take it.
I don't care
dead,
if I was under.
dead Mrs. Hart and all. I'll take it.
Yes, I will. She'll be like my bearskin rug.
Oh,
Oh my
God. I'm so sad that I like called it last week that she was done. But
I know we both because after each episode we tell each other our theories and stuff like that because you know what
Aw.
else do old married people do. But neither one of us thought that Hart was going to make it through this episode, and I'm really sad that I was right. Normally my ego wants to be right, but I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
I have a theory about that, but I feel like I should tell it later. 'Cause
I
it's a
think I
bit
know
fun.
what theory you're alluding
I was
to.
about to say we got
Probably.
a whole lot of stuff we can go through and call back.
You
to.
probably
You
know.
are
We're
A-okay.
vibing. We get it.
Yeah.
We do go on to the wine trial. So my age has value. I'm no fun alone. I mess with your mind. My tricks are well known. I also really liked when Jennifer was like, "That sounds like you, Agatha," and Agatha just me. Like I don't think that she ever is going to go off of the overacting, which is great because she's just the most immature person in this show. And I
good.
think that that's why Catherine Hahn has so much fun playing her, because she actually just has so much freedom to do whatever, because she doesn't have to be the most put together, even though theoretically she should be. because she's done it before. Let's see. So going back to, since we got Mephisto name drops, Jennifer Kale telling Teen that Agatha traded her child for the Book of the Damned. And I was going to ask, do we believe that? Or do we think that that's rumor mill gone extreme? What's happening there?
Megan?
Okay, I'm ready. So
I got my Drake and Josh vibes on that.
This is one of like maybe 3 or 4 theories I have, and if you don't agree with me, I hate you. I'm just kidding. But so I think she did trade Nicholas Scratch for the Darkhold. We all are like, yeah, kind of. But my thing is, the Darkholds are gone. Witches are very protective about contracts. So what happened to Nicholas Scratch when the contract was gone? Because there's no Darkhold.
I also think that she did trade Nicholas for the Darkhold, because that's such an Agatha. She would trade anything for that.
And her vision.
Yeah.
Like her hallucination.
It
pretty much wrote out, was just like, hey, you did this.
Her little Darkhold baby. We all have a little Darkhold baby. But I just
hang on.
I agree with it.
Let's go back.
What do you mean by Darkhold baby?
Mine was just scratching incessantly at the door. Megan's had a guest appearance in the end of the last video, I think.
You might get a roommate appearance, and that'll be mine.
Wonderful. Your Darkhold baby.
Aww, they grow so fast.
They do. And they corrupt you just as fast. This went deep so fast. We do have Blake in the chat saying, is Mephisto name dropped because we will get him, or is it to appease us fans who've been dying to hear the name? So do we think we'll get Mephisto, or do we think that that's just a little Easter egg? Because in the comics, I believe that that's actually the last comic that Nicholas Scratch appeared in, was where he became an agent of Mephisto, and then we just never saw him again. I don't even think we saw him be an agent of Mephisto. He just became one.
Yeah, he just accepted it.
Sometimes we just accept our fate.
I mean, I hope we would see him. I think he would look creepy and cool.
Well, I mean, I don't think we will, because it's pretty much confirmed he's going to be an Ironheart. So it's like,
true. Yeah.
I think it'll allude to him and he will be involved, but I don't think we'll see him.
Yeah.
My thing
the
is
CGI cost alone. I feel like.
Well,
I
he could be
mean,
in a human form.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's not as fun.
It's more scratchy.
Or this show has done everything practically thus far, so maybe it's just a person painted red with little pointy ears and they put them on stilts. Like, I would say no, we won't see him in the show, but it would be absurd for them to introduce him in Ironheart of all shows. I think that this show will be much bigger. And so even just slightly introducing him in this show, I think that would be the way to go. But also, I don't work for Marvel, so.
Well, that's why they would introduce him in that show, because the show is bigger. They'll do what they can to get them views.
Yeah.
It's also supposed to be technology versus magic and Ironheart.
Yeah.
So.
See, that's my favorite thing, though. Except for I always want magic to win.
Samesies.
Whether it's the good side or the bad side, I don't care.
It's just more fun.
Magic to win.
I wonder if they keep pushing back Ironheart, because since it is technology versus magic, if they're going to add in some Doom stuff, since they announced that recently.
They have to at some point. I mean, it seems like we're far away from Doom, but we're not. They have to start integrating it somewhere. So
I think that'd be a perfect place for it.
Yeah.
Like just a hint, just like a hey, he's coming.
Yeah.
Start the rumors online. Doom appears in Ironheart.
So Matthew said hi. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matthew.
Said, isn't Sacha Baron Cohen rumored to be he's rumored, but he is confirmed per the copyright logs for Ironheart. So there's that.
Absolutely.
Ellen
also says watch
Borat. Oh, sorry. I
don't think I'll be able to see past it either. I think for such a serious character, he's a quippy character and like kind of corny, but also I also
Yeah.
haven't seen Sacha Baron Cohen in anything other than that,
You
so
know-
I'll give him a chance.
He has
more-
range. I
Does
want
he?
Win to speak. Yeah, I want Win to speak. Go ahead, Swin.
Oh, I hear him.
Oh
now.
no, I'm
I
off
never
on
do.
like a little tangent in my head. The more I'm thinking about it, I would love. I actually am on board with it being practical for Mephisto.
You were gonna say Maleficent.
Yeah, Les.
Bring Maleficent into this show. Yes.
I did that at work with somebody else. Because Ready or Not, I don't know if either of you have seen Ready or Not, but we saw it. The one where
Is that the one where the
bride-
girl? Yeah. Okay.
And at the end, you see like the devil, and it's very
Yeah.
practical looking and like just red paint.
Well-
I need to rewatch that. It's been so long.
Well,
And
Mephisto
it looks
was.
scary.
That's not that's true though. Mephisto was in the Ghost Rider movies, so we
Mhm.
have
Oh,
seen
that's
him
right.
live action. It wasn't bad, and it was very humanized. But
Yeah.
I don't like Sacha Baron Cohen. Just
Yeah.
he has range. He's a good actor. He doesn't show his range, but he does have it. When you have to like
Yeah.
really search for it. But it's like there are so many people in the world. You picked him.
Yeah. I feel that. I felt
There's
that
7 million human beings.
shrug.
I-
You did.
I would like to see Dan Levy as Mephisto. I think he would give such a bad bitch vibe.
Yes. I am
He'd
so
be like,
down with
"You
that.
gonna sign this contract or not? Because like I got places to be." But
Double
jumping in the
enroll.
chat a little bit. Let's see. Cody says, also, hi everyone. Hi, Cody. Haven't seen the show yet, but I had to come check out the podcast. Awesome.
Oh.
Thanks for joining us, Matthew. Regardless, hopefully we don't spoil too much for you. Cole says, proud of you boys. Thank you, Cole. Matthew also says, if they do bring in Mephisto, I really hope they give him a proper build-up and not just put him on the back burner after one fight. I can't see Sasha being Mephisto after seeing Borat and Bruno. I agree hardcore. But you know what? I'm always willing for actors to prove me wrong because it's happened before where super comedic actors just do dramatic scenes and they try something different and you just didn't know that they had that skill set. So I'm going to trust Megan on this one. If you think he's got the range, it's all you.
Well, another thing about Mephisto I would really like to see is if it was a different actor every time because he is a shapeshifter.
Mhm.
So I think they should play into that because they didn't play into it with Kang. So
Yeah.
Well,
I
they ain't
don't
playing
even-
into anything
And
for
that's
Kang
kind
anymore.
of like a
Yeah.
generally trope too. Like you always see him as somebody new. They do that with
Yeah.
God a lot and the devil.
Yeah.
The devil's
So-
in the details.
So I like that. It would even be funny if they almost played into the like guest star thing of it, and it was like some big actor. Or something.
All right, here's my pitch. Here's my pitch for Marvel. Mephisto comes back. His human form is Deborah Jo Rupp. Bring her back. Same personality and everything. He inherits the personality of the person that he takes the shape of. We'll say that.
see,
I know that
I
doesn't happen,
think-
but
I think she's Rio.
I mean, I can see that.
I've
We
heard
do know that we
that.
get Rio back in the
Listen-
next episode.
Think about it because all of the things that happened in Agatha's delusions was in her house. So she hit teen with a car in her house. Who was in the car? Mrs. Hart. Why was she in the house? But you know who was in the house when she took off running after that kid? Rio. And we
Man,
know
that'd be
Rio.
such a good twist.
I'm saying, and we know Rio will end up on the road, but how? She doesn't have a coven.
Mhm.
You have to have a
Right.
She,
coven.
like pops out of the ground.
Yeah, she in that one clip. Yeah, she does. Pop
Yeah.
up
She
out
just
of the
lives on the road. That's her default.
Like they're gonna leave Deborah Jo Rupp behind, and then she's just gonna appear, and they're like, well, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I don't know." And then
She's-
it's gonna be told that it's her, and I'll be here next week to tell you guys I was right.
Do you think that it has been her all the way from before they went down into the door? Or do
Yes. So
I think I'm going to piggyback off yours, but I'm going to change
Go
one
ahead.
thing. I
Go ahead.
think that she did get sucked into the moss, and Rio's climbing out where she got sucked in.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I like
be me.
that.
So
I disagree, but I like it.
I do like it, but I think Rio has kept an eye on Agatha for a long time, and
Mhm.
Rio caught up with Agatha when after Wanda's whole magic thing, and she saw a neighbor that was easy to manipulate, that was just going through a loss. She climbed right in her. I don't know if she's been alive since. I don't know, but
Mhm.
I think Rio has kept an eye on her for a very long time. Because why would her neighbors just appease this craziness? Why
Because
is
they're
Mrs. Hart
terrified of
in?
her. They
Why
don't
is she
know she's
playing?
powerless.
I
Yeah.
still want an
She showed up in her
entire show
house.
just them doing that.
But
Like, I
she's
just
holed
want
up
a
in her
whole
house.
show
Yeah.
of just the neighbors helping Agatha.
I
Oh,
will say,
100%.
based on promos, we know that we do at least get some new perspective of her true crime scene, because we see a still in one of the trailers of Agatha kicking Teen, but it's not in the interrogation room, it's in her living room. Like, it's the same
Yeah.
scene, but it's how it actually played out. So I'm hoping we just do that for the whole damn first episode. Because that would be phenomenal. I would watch I would watch 3 years of her Hex.
It would
but,
make
you know,
such a good YouTube miniseries to
Yes,
do like
I've
little
I've
snippets.
said that.
I agree. And I think that would be killer advertising, because you wouldn't be giving anything away about the show itself.
Yeah, it's like little
It would
bonus
just
material.
be.
It's like a bunch of end credit scenes.
Yeah, I like it.
Good.
Jumping over to the chat real quick. I had to kind of proofread half of this because it says Joe Locke, and I'm super anxious about getting spoilers.
I can read the chat if you like, because I know all the spoilers.
I was about to say, if you see a spoiler, just let me know.
I'll let you know.
Let it go for a minute in case you red flagged it. But
Yeah.
Blake says, how about the Joe Locke character keeps bringing up his parents a lot more than normal? Also in episode 1, they mentioned a car wreck and 2 dead bodies. What if that's his parents and him, but when he died, Nicholas Scratch possessed him and he doesn't know he's dead? Question, exclamation, question, exclamation. Also, before we go on with that, I want to pop in. Edelyn says, who's Sharon? I love it so much. And I'm going to try to, how do I do that? Yes.
Oh, there you go.
I just learned how to do that just for you. I didn't even know I could do that. But yeah, I guess I could do this while we do that.
Perfect. So
Ooh,
Blake, I really like. I had almost kind of the same theory, but mine was crap. I read it and I was thinking at the same time. It just didn't work for me that well. So I do think 3 years ago, Joe Locke was hit by a car. Because think about what he said. He's 16 years old. He said to what's her face, Alice, what a lot of things happened to me when I was 13. What happened 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wanda. So I think Wanda did actually make a soul, but it just seemed like it was in her little whole hex thing. So when she stopped, if it's Billy Kaplan was in an accident with his parents where they are still in a coma because he says he knows for sure they are still asleep. And then Billy Maximoff crawled up in that little body of his. And that's what he's been this whole time. Because why? Some kid from Eastview? Also, at the end of the first episode, in the end credits, his title card is the newspaper clipping from the accident.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So I will agree. It was either a car accident with him and his parents, or I want to know something sketchy about the boyfriend. I know that we only got like a glimpse of him for a second, but I know that he's got to be significant in some way. And that goes to a question that I'm going to ask later. But I don't know. Finn, what do you think?
I am kind of on your page. I also think that like it's a reincarnation type of deal, but I have a question as to whether it's Billy Maximoff or Nick Scratch. Because I could also see it being Nick Scratch and kind of as like a punishment type of situation. He can't like say who he is, at least around Agatha. Maybe like if Agatha's not in front of the group, he could say his name to the other witches. I'm not sure, but I feel like it would be a feasible option for him to possibly be connected to like the deal that Agatha made. And one like thing that I had written down was that she, like the M that's over his mouth, everyone's been saying that it looks like an M, could be for Mephisto, and that he just was the sacrifice that she made and kind of coming back to haunt her, because Jen did say she wouldn't recognize him if he came up to her front doorstep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do think that line wasn't for nothing, whether it's supposed to be a red herring or an actual clue. But no, that fits really well against my heart hurts hearing it. But it does hurt, it does hurt. It does make a lot of sense. Because one of the questions that I did have was, who do you think placed the sigil on the teen? But no, the M has to stand for something. It is clearly not just a squiggle. It is an M, whether it be for Maximoff, Mephisto, my Sharona, it's something. But no, I think that you're on to the closest of what
the
it
witch
is.
senses are on. It's the hat.
Yes. You consulted the tarot, which I'm learning. I only know like 5 cards so far, but
it takes so
2
much
years
time.
now. Right?
I tried
And
to do like the card a day thing. Apparently I'm not that disciplined. So
Yeah, I've taken like a week off. All of this Agatha stuff has taken it out of me. So I was like, okay, I'll pick it back up when I have a moment. But no, it is very involved, like very involved. But yeah, what do you think, sigil wise?
You know, I don't know.
I was about to say I don't know. That's why I asked you.
I mean, it has to do something. It has to have to do something with Mephisto, just because of the M. I mean, I don't know any other thing it could be. I don't think
They
it's
did name
Maximoff.
drop him.
I do think that if it's for anything, then it's for Mephisto.
I do have something to add from like my little witchy knowledge. Sigils typically are LJ smiling.
I love it. Tell me all the witchy stuff.
So sigils are typically for one of two things. They're either representative of a spell, so like they're used as like a visual reminder kind of thing, or they're representative of a deity, and it could be argued that Mephisto is a deity, and like specific.
Oh, he is.
So I could very much see it being more for Mephisto than Maximoff in like the real life witchy way as well. So
yeah, I 100% agree with that. Also, they something to the fact of where it's hiding him from witches, and so to me that says that if Teen were to say his name to a mortal, there would be no sigil, there would be no censorship is the word I was looking for. But the fact that he's hidden from all witches, I mean, that could be part of that deal. If he were to be Nicholas Scratch, the deal trading the Darkhold for him, technically Agatha still can't have him because he can't say that it's him. So he can still exist, but he just can't relate to Agatha. Or there has to be that separation somehow. So Agatha can never have him because she can never find out. And that goes for all witches, because another witch could just tell Agatha whatever. I don't know. Witches don't really talk to Agatha anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I don't know. I back up your theory. I think that's very strong. Very strong.
Thank you.
And it made me very upset. Going to the chat, we have, so now that I know I can pull these things up, that's so neat. Edelyn says, I started thinking this episode too that he might be Scratch, really throwing my own theories into question. Me too, because I don't want him to be Nicholas. I'm okay if he is some like combination of Nicholas and Billy, however they did that. I just need him to be Billy of some sort. And also, Cody says Agatha was really protective of Teen when he tried to drink the poison. So, to me, he is either Nicholas or Billy, and I 100% agree with that. I think he's one of them.
See, that to me didn't seem protective, but more like when they said Agatha was trying to keep him all to herself because he might be something great. That's what I took it as. She was protective of him for the very wrong reasons, not because of who he is, but what he could be.
That sounds so inspirational, though. He might be something great. Go team.
I know,
live your dreams.
I know there's all kinds of like a lot of different reasons of why they got created for Wanda from Mephisto in the comic books. I don't know of how they're going to do if it is Wicca and Billy, how they would explain the reasoning behind it, because it's not going to fit with the MCU.
Okay, so I can answer this.
So it's weird if Wanda like actually created him, I guess, if it's an explanation. But
just killed the couch.
If that's not the case and she actually created him and she didn't realize it, like, what purpose does Mephisto have to just create somebody out of thin air that was once a figment of Wanda?
Comic book readers, which they have been doing more so lately. But I think that Teen was in that car accident, and I think Teen died in that car accident. And so I think someone's soul went into him, whether it was Nicholas or Billy. My headcanon is Billy. That way he can be Billy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just going off of what we learned so far. And so far, this version of Billy was not real. It was just Wanda's figment of
imagination. He was real to me. He got me through.
He was real to me. I felt it when she gave birth.
He wouldn't have a soul.
I still feel it. I'm still swollen.
Floating around and be something unless she actually made it.
But she could have, because we know that she has more power than she knows about. And we know that she has power she doesn't understand.
Yeah.
So she could actually have created something for them, created some type of soul, consciousness, whatever. I had another thought. What I was going to say. ADHD is not great to do for lives. This is why normally there are long bits of silence or long bits of rambling in our videos that I just cut out the entire 20 minutes at a time. We actually like spend 4 hours doing like each video, and I'm just like, that's not relevant. It takes me 4 hours to set up for each video. But no, I think that she might very well be capable of creating Billy, whether it be maybe she created Billy from a pre-existing soul that was just, floating through Westview, seeing if that's where he wanted to, put up shop. But who knows? Because the hex didn't last very long. Maybe Teen died in that car. His soul went into the hex, into Billy, and then the hex went down. The soul went back into the body, and that's all right. This is crazy. It's still less convoluted than the comics, though.
Yes, but that's still way too convoluted.
Listen,
I think
it makes sense to comic readers, not to the MCU watchers. Yeah.
What I think is
screw them.
That's what I was kind of getting at with the whole, did she make a soul? Did she not? Like, I feel like just that questioning going back and forth is too convoluted of, oh no, she can't make people. Oh no, she can make people. Like, they should have picked one and stuck with it. Don't change it. You need to figure out a streamlined way to do this.
Megan, get him. Get him before I do.
We'll say something like, she just loved him so much that she created a soul. So it's going to be something wild like that. But if Wanda got rid of the hex at the same time as that car accident, that soul would be flying around looking for a body. So, but that also makes you think, who's Tommy if this is Billy?
Right.
Is he just like a
not important
man?
He doesn't matter.
Just like comic book readers, Tommy's not important. He shows up sometimes.
I half expect them to just ignore him.
I do too.
Like, they just don't mention him again.
I think if we see Tommy, my fan theory is that we'll see Tommy as a background character in Vision Quest, and then he'll become friends with Viv or something.
Okay.
But also, if we take the comic origin and simplify it, You know how when you lose something, you feel like part of your soul is gone? When Wanda was in her grief, what if she split her own consciousness or her own soul? So instead of pieces of Mephisto, her kids were literally pieces of her. And when she took the hex down, the piece of her didn't know where to go.
I don't know why that's cute to me, but I think it's cuter than she just magically created them, that they're like a piece of her soul. I don't know.
She's
but like,
oh,
instead of being a piece of
miserable.
Mephisto, maybe they just are a piece of Wanda, like physically a piece of her.
Let's see. Cody says also
Megan said, "Shut up! I'm going to the comments."
Oh no, I have ADHD too. I have ADHD too. Like, I don't even know what you said. Also, Megan knows, but the brief shot we saw of the boyfriend, he looked a lot like the guy who was rumored to play Hulkling. I know people keep saying that Hulkling, he doesn't look like Hulkling. Hulkling's a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, okay.
I don't know. I will forever fight for Kit Connor to play Hulkling, but that's just me.
I
like
think that guy is Hulkling because Cody is correct. That is the guy that was rumored years 2 years ago for the casting call. And then they showed like, this is what he was hired for. This is what he showed up to act. And it was him.
I know.
So,
and I'd
be fine with that as long as we get Hulkling.
But I want it to be Kit Connor.
See, I don't think they would do that.
It could happen.
Fair. I don't think that they would have Kit Connor because I think that Joe Locke would not be like, I know that they love each other. They're friends in real life, but I would want my own career also.
Yeah.
So I think that being cast only with each other, that might not be great for your career. And I don't think Marvel would want to do that. I've also
thought about and why I'm afraid that the boyfriend is
tell that to Seth Rogen, James Franco, Adam Sandler, Steve Carell, that whole little Frenzies group. Like, it can happen.
They still switch their girl out every once in a while.
Yes, whoever's buddies though.
Whoever's wife.
Also just buddies though. It's going to be very hard to get work as if you're always typecast as boyfriends together and you can only get jobs as that.
Imagine if they or do they actually date in real life? Are they like
no?
They should be.
It's just I mean, yeah. But it's weird not to cast him at the same time. Like, I get why if I was either one of those actors, I wouldn't want the other one to be cast as it. But those characters for that comic book of Heartstoppers were based off of Wiccan and Hulkling.
Heartstopper exists because of Wiccan and Hulkling.
So it honestly kind of makes sense canonically of life.
In my head canon, Heartstopper is just Teen's life before he met Agatha. But yeah, I would prefer. I think that if we were going to introduce Hulkling, that it should have been in the Marvels. He's Kree-Skrull hybrid. He should have been introduced in the Kree-Skrull conflict, and then maybe he escapes to Earth or something.
I think you cannot have one without the other. So if you introduce Hulkling, it would have been 100% that we were getting Wiccan. So that would take all the mystery away if he is Wiccan.
That's what I was thinking.
It's less. Like, I mean, what we're doing now, we're questioning if Hulkling is actually going to make the appearance. So obviously they went the right route of doing Wiccan first. So
Blake said something kind of cool, giving into your theory. What if the red poof of magic when the Wonder Gore fell on her in MOM was Wanda soul splitting into two to create the boys in real life?
They're made of Wanda. I like that. And then Wanda comes back and she's like, actually, I need that back. Sorry.
I mean,
I didn't realize it was going to be a whole thing.
No, you're starting to pull me. You're starting to pull me into it. You're starting to pull me into that theory because
it would be a less convoluted way.
It would be less convolued, but also I'm putting on like my business hat on Marvel, and if something falls through with Olsen and she doesn't come back, like because she has been known to dog the character in media.
She said one thing one time.
I'm just saying, I know. It wasn't a big deal. I'm not saying like she dogged him, but that was the rumor mill going around.
That she dogged Wanda?
Yeah, that she dogged the character playing it. So if they can't get her, or there's a misunderstanding or a misagreement or something, they could just be like, yeah, she's not coming back because she put her soul into these kids.
True.
Because she was so obsessed
with
them.
It's safe.
So it's just a good out. Kind of like they did with Kang and Loki. They kind of they had a good out with that.
They did.
So he could be taken care of. He might not be, but if we don't address him again, then he was taken care of.
I like stuff when you put a bow on it. Like it's good. There's a way to get around it without it being like
I agree.
Super
but
convoluted.
What we really have to talk about are these hallucinations. Hi, Andy.
Yeah, please. I got that next.
Let's go.
So Jennifer is seeing the doctor that bound her, which gives no context into how. I really liked that scene, but I think I need more, and I think that's the point. The purpose of this episode was to get you invested like slightly in these witches, like, oh, what is that? I need to learn more. But any theories on what's going on there and how she got bound?
I will say, like, hers was emotionally the scariest. Like the other women's problems were spooky, but hers was like, I thought it was a abusive ex-husband who was a chef. I thought he was a chef at first, to be honest. So I was like, oh my God, like this is actual trauma. Like this is like relatable trauma. So that's what I took away from it.
I like that. I didn't get that. I've been fortunate enough to not have been in an abusive relationship yet. We'll see. But
when would never. Look at that face.
But yeah, I like that because I didn't take that away from the scene because I'm not in that world. Like that's not something I'm regularly exposed to.
Yeah.
So I like that. Yeah, I have no idea. Finn, any insight on how witches get bound? Because I have no idea.
Not in real life, no. But I also
Finn says, I'm not bound, it don't matter.
I'm not bound. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of that. No, I also was with Megan. Like it was very much feeling like an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And she came out of it and she was like talking about reliving like trauma, and like I feel for her. I felt a lot more emotional with that one. Trauma bond, see?
Yes.
Trauma bound.
True.
No.
Trauma bounded it.
I do want to say, Blake says we still have to address the Kang Council. I felt like they wrapped that up in Loki because they're like the TVA is like hunting them now. So as far as we know, they're just going
off
to all
their screen.
Yeah, they're just offing them.
I think I agree with the rumor that they're going to have a few different actors play a few Kangs to kind of take care of that and just kind of push it under the rug, but at least to address it.
Just to use him to introduce Dr. Doom and then show what a true threat is, and then we're done with them. It's over.
Yep. The one that gets me, the one untied end that continues to get me, where the hell was that thing in Eternals? As like a film person, that pissed me off. Like like a giant comes out of the earth and then we don't hear anything about it ever again.
Wait until Captain America 4 and you're going to get all of the answers for that.
I promise. It's supposed to be filled with adamantium, which is another metal that everyone's going to fight over, whatever. I think they're going to be like, look, we used this thing where you can't actually see it because we didn't want people to get to it. Like a very Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of thing. So that's what I think they'll do. Yeah.
Bonus if they add Quake in the sequence.
I don't even want to get my hopes up right now. Like I'm so emotionally invested in her.
I was gonna say I just secretly hope that Quake just appears in every project that I see, and then at the end I'm like, oh.
Secret invasion.
Blake says, what if Agatha ends up redeeming herself from giving up her son at the end by sacrificing her life for Wiccan, which is actually what I think is happening. I think that's actually, I think I said something to the effect of that last Coven Chat about how we're learning about Nicholas, so that way we see Agatha take a different route this time. I agree with that.
Listen,
but
I hope not. I don't want her to redeem herself. I want her to be her. I'm trying not to curse, but it's really hard. I want
anything
her to
but
be
the
her
F word. Go for it.
Okay, her bitchy self. I don't want her to make up for the things she's done wrong. I want her to be like, I just do things. I don't really care what you think. That's what I want. I'm sick of redeeming villains. I'm over it.
Megan,
Yes, but
I
that's
love you.
Marvel's
Oh my
thing.
gosh. I've
Yes.
been saying this. I don't want her
Right.
redeemed.
Oh my
I don't
god,
either,
I
but they
know.
will.
In her like
See,
realized
we're going.
power, she knows what she's capable of, and she doesn't care. Like I love that.
Yes.
We
It's
have
Marvel.
so many heroes.
It's Marvel. It's Disney. That's what's going to happen. But I agree with the two of you.
Listen,
I don't want it to happen.
Marvel and Disney gave us the High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That dude was evil as balls. So
yeah, he's
And
the
balls are
most
evil.
evil.
they are.
villain
They got me
in
pregnant.
the MCU.
Me too.
Hi,
Anyways,
Richard.
back
Shout
to
out
the-
you.
Hi, Richard.
All right.
Going back to the hallucination.
Yes, hallucination.
Because I do definitely want to cover all those before we have to get off here.
Yeah.
Really quick. Alice seeing her mom telling how the women in her family are cursed and that she can't save her. That was creepy, and it made me intrigued to find out more about Alice. And I think that we do in the next one, because in the materials we're starting to see more of the rock and roll ish.
Mm-hmm. It made me like that character a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to know more. I feel like she hasn't really gotten a chance to shine yet. I
started liking her when she told the teen, like, I missed the eyeliner, but the hair is cute. That's when I was like, okay. We're vibing.
Relatable.
Yeah.
I also like her witchy tat.
But I think that did show that her mom went on the road at the end of the road would be a way to get rid of the curse on their family.
Yeah.
That's
That's
definitely it right there.
I was about to say, there's no reason why we would even talk about her family being cursed if we weren't going to actually keep addressing it. So I agree.
It's
true.
Because we are running a little short on time. So I'm gonna move on. Lilia, she sees a young version of herself, leads her into a room where, due to the credits, we know. Yes, due to the credits, we know these things.
Okay.
We know. But it's a young version of herself that leads her into a room with her teacher and something scary behind her that kind of reminds me of Death from the comics.
Did it not look like Death though? Like
it did.
That was, I saw it and I was like, oh, Death. Cool.
Yeah.
And then I moved on.
So what the hell's going on with her? Like, has she just been avoiding death this whole time? I get that she's like 450 years old, which same, ask my spine any day. But I don't think it really gave us any context of what the hell is happening.
She's the one I'm most excited for.
If they,
just because it's Patti LuPone.
If they introduce Death into the MCU, I want it to be a full-fledged character, and I want her or him to have a three-way with Deadpool and Thanos.
They are lovers in the comics.
That would make sense.
It's canon, just not all at the same time, to my knowledge. But we're being progressive.
I did not expect sweet little Wen to say that. Wen is
just wait.
Kind. He just came out and said that. You can't say the F word, but you could talk about that.
Yeah, that's fine. Totally. And then the last hallucination we see, Agatha with her Darkhold baby. And then we kind of already went over that on who thinks that the Darkhold was actually her reward for sacrificing Nicholas.
One vision we didn't actually see her, but Kitty Hart, I liked hearing her side of the whole Vision, like he's choking thing. That was like what she was
Let him
thinking
breathe
in her head. Yeah. But
That
she was
got me.
saying...
It's so messed up if that is the last thing her character says in this entire show.
Oh, because that character's known for that.
Yeah, and
She's
it would
known
have
for
been
that saying.
she
So that
would have
make sense.
died thinking about her hallucinating her husband choking because of Wanda.
That's how
she
we
would
were
have died.
introduced to her, and that's how we left her.
Imagine if
That's
that was
so
the,
tragic.
imagine if that was the day her husband really did die, but it didn't work for Wanda's show,
Oh
so
my
she kept it
God.
going. Think about that.
Did we
Oh my
see him
God.
again?
No.
No, we didn't.
You
That's the
only
first
see
episode.
Mrs.
He's
Hart.
never in it.
Oh,
Why
that's
would you
canon
say
now.
that?
That is head canon. That's what happens.
So-
I'm not
too
mentally
beautiful.
stable enough for that. We just
Wanda
know
just had his
Kitty.
corpse walk out of her house, and then as
Yeah.
soon as they got outside, he just dropped and she goes,
Dropped.
That is perfect.
"You
though,
were fine."
because it is a way to make Marvel, like the MCU, so dark without actually
Mhm.
having to be so dark. Like it's
Yeah.
just a good way to do it.
We
And-
knew
and a
as soon
witch
as Deborah Jo Rupp was cast for this show would be dark as hell.
I'm telling y'all, she's coming back, but as Rio. I don't think that's the last we've seen of her.
I am excited to get Rio
Me
now
too.
that Sharon has croaked, for lack of better terms, to
Who's
replace
Sharon?
her with somebody at least.
you
Let's
keep
see.
her
Also,
name out of
that
your
was
mouth.
that was the witch's fault for her dying. They got everyone's hair but Sharon's.
But Sharon's. But here's
I
the
was-
thing.
That's true.
Yeah, I
The
was
thing
watching and I
is,
was
it
like, you
worked.
bitches. How did you forget her?
But it
Go
wouldn't
ahead.
have worked. They would have all died because they had to align their intentions, and Hart wasn't conscious.
But would
Her
that
intention was
it
also
wouldn't
wanting
work.
to stay alive, just
yeah,
unconsciously.
what if she was unconscious but in her head? I mean, she has been taken over before by Wanda. She in her head she knew what was going on, but on the outside she had no control.
That is true. That's fair.
I don't know, but
Did-
it is
did they
sketchy
just
that they didn't
decide?
use her hair for it. But
Yeah.
also, she drank 2 glasses of wine, so one antidote I don't think would have done as
True.
much.
True.
I still think that it's bull. I don't think
Girl
the
was
potion-
having a Wednesday.
I don't think the potion should have worked at all without her hair because she was part of the group and she drank it.
But it
But
needed
do
to work so
you-
I could still have the rest of the coven alive.
Do you think she was trying to commit suicide
Convenience armor.
by drinking 2 cups
Maybe.
because she knew it was poison, so she kept
She did
drinking?
know. Yeah, she did try to take another drop of it, and they were like, "No, it's poison." Remember?
How is this
Didn't-
getting darker? Stop it.
I like it.
No, it all makes so much sense, though.
Yeah, it does.
This is less
Uh,
convoluted than what it'll be when they introduce Wiccan.
Yeah.
If they do.
Listen, Kevin,
This
just
poor,
call
she
us.
has the most tragic story in the MCU.
She thought she was going to a party with her friends for the first
I
time
know.
since the passing of her husband. She brought
She
her
was.
purse.
It was just a suicide pact party.
She brought her purse. Damn it! And she learned the song just to dance to it. She just wanted to dance.
That purse was from Talbot's.
Talbots. Damn it.
Oh God.
Oh, and then we already talked about them going through the oven, the references there. Oh, let's see. Let's finish this with which one? I have a couple good ones. We'll just
There's
do
no-
what
There's no like time limit. I'm good if you guys are good.
I know. I just try to respect your time and keep it around an hour. I know last time we
That's
went like
fine.
20 minutes over, and I felt
Yeah.
super bad about it.
Oh my God, don't. If I
Um,
want to go, I'm just gonna go. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Megan just says,
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, internet activity. Oh my God.
"Yeah, you're what."
Yeah.
I do want to know what's just your favorite moment from this episode? Like, what stuck out to you? Like, just for funsies.
I think one of them, I had a lot, but I think one of them was Teen going, "Oh, can I have some?" And everyone going, "No," and Agatha going, "Yeah, why not?" Such a
She's like the
wine
cool
on
aunt.
She's so out of touch with just everything. She's like, I don't see the problem here.
That
But
and
I-
oh, sorry, I was just
Go
gonna
ahead.
quickly add that, and when her and Lilia were like, "What the is a is the thing that they used in the kitchen being too
Oh,
old
yeah.
goodies.
Okay, I have beef
I'm
with
going to add
this.
to that.
The sous vide.
You first.
Okay,
Or
that's not
wherever
how
you
a
are.
sous vide
There.
works. They said we need to boil it. Here's a sous vide. You mean to tell me you had a sous vide, but you didn't have a pot to cook it in? Also, like a sous vide doesn't boil water. I
Maybe
use
it
one
just
all the
needed to be
time.
warm, and then magic made it boil.
I've never
What
heard of
magic?
this device till
You're
now,
super
so-
fancy
magic?
because we've never heard of this device before today.
It's
Yeah, I'm
or
too
yesterday,
young
I
to own a
guess.
sous vide. Whatever you said, I'm too young to own that.
my husband's super big into cooking, and we bought half a cow worth of meat, so we learned every way to cook meat. So
Okay.
So will you explain what is a sous vide? What does it do?
it heats the water. It does not boil it. It heats it enough though to where it cooks the meat. So if you have a really, really thick piece of steak that like you're gonna burn because you can't cook it on the outside, it cooks it the way through just enough, and then you can cook it on a grill or whatever you want. I like to put
Interesting.
frozen stuff in there. If I forgot to take it out, I just put it in there.
Yeah.
Done.
I
It's
want
pretty
one
cool.
then.
You're not getting one. It sounds expensive. But
We've had ours
I-
for like we've had ours for years. It's like the same one. It's probably expensive.
I will say, I think that the only reason that is in the episode, other than just be like, wow, they're not using a cauldron, they're just going to use a big ass sink. Because Teen grabs it and says that his dad loves his for cooking, and in the comics, Billy Kaplan's dad likes to cook. Just saying, he likes his culinary arts. So I think
True.
that was I hope that was a clue for him to be Billy.
Also, are we not going to talk about how weird Billy was this episode? Not Billy, Teen.
No.
No.
We can't.
Well,
What you
like,
got?
when they were outside, when Kitty was like, "Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it's over," and he's like, "Oh, what a bummer." And even Agatha was like, "What, bro?" And then he had to like buck up Agatha to get her to drink the wine. Like there was weird moments from him throughout this whole episode that I feel like no one is talking about.
Well,
Okay, I
maybe,
think
maybe his mood switches are because he is both Billy and Nicholas Scratch.
he's just bipolar, aren't we all?
Okay.
I think the first thing he wants to experience all the witchy stuff because he's never actually gotten to experience any of it. He's just been obsessed with it. So he's like, wow, if this is it of the Witch's Road, the famous Witch's Road.
But
also with Agatha, it was immediately after he was told that she sacrificed her son for the Darkhold. So maybe he's just like, all right, drink this. Prove to me that you're not selfish. Prove to me that you are here for the Coven. And like,
well, also thinking back at WandaVision, he was a sweet, like
he was a sensitive
boy, but also once he got his powers, he was kind of bossy too. He's like, "Get off my brother," and like zapped him and stuff.
Can you reenact that one more time?
He can get a little rambunctious.
Yeah,
He
he can. And
but I think it also showed his desperation to get down the road. And it's like, bro, you haven't told us what you want down the road. Like, why are you here? Why are you here?
He just wants to
He
fly.
he wants more eyeliner.
And you
That's
know what?
his
As
thing
a
for the
makeup
road.
artist, I understand. You know how expensive this is?
And he uses a lot.
He does. He uses a lot of eyeliner. Reapply it on every take. Poor guy.
So Blake said, I also love how Agatha All Along has so much continuity, which is what Marvel has lacked lately. 100%, brethren. Tom says, as a cook by trade, the use of the sous vide in the show was bullshit. I told y'all. He's a professional. I told y'all it doesn't work. It's not what it does. Well, yeah,
you will use it twice, and then it will die in a shelf or something for the rest of its life.
Oh, dude, that's me. I get it when we get each other.
We have so much kitchen stuff, and we use like one thing, the microwave. So
there's also a little theory I have going on here. So the road was blue, right? The same color. The same color as the potion they had to use, right? When they got back on the road was orange. So what's going to happen next involving the color orange?
Yeah. Which one's orange?
Alice.
The
On
80s.
the tarot cards, Alice's
Mhm.
color is orange.
I guess that wouldn't fit with their powers.
Well, none of them got powers right now anyway.
Well, because Wiccan
What
is
if it
blue.
was-
There isn't another blue one that's there.
Well,
Mm-mm.
I mean, Mrs. Hart was blue.
Well, she
Because
is
she
now.
died.
She can breed them.
She died, guys. That was the joke, because she died.
I don't remember what colors who, so
I'll say I have all of them.
and
I
she's not a
know.
witch, so that doesn't make sense. Yeah, okay, I get it.
It takes them a second
It got too quiet, and I was like,
sometimes.
"Oh, Megan, you didn't stick the landing."
No, you did. I acknowledged it. I was just the
Bless
only-
you. I
Let's do. Who do you think had the best suburban beach house glow up? Let's talk.
Oh.
Let's talk costume department, because this show is doing a fantastic job in the costume department.
Have any of you ever, this is like random, but have any of you ever watched fashion photo review from Drag Race? Like the
Mm-mm.
toot
No.
boots.
I've watched plenty of Drag Race, but never fashion review.
You should check it out. Raja
Alright.
Raja and Raven do costume or outfit runway reviews, and they say toot if it's good and boot if it's bad.
Huh.
And I'd say all of
I
them
think
are
I've seen a thumbnail for this before. I've just never watched it.
probably. I'd say they're all toot.
It sounds
I'd
good.
say the most toot was Agatha, because Catherine's hair.
Yes.
I was obsessed with it. It looked so good on her. That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
she did look good.
I will say mine for the episode by far, I was obsessed from head to toe with Jennifer Kale's look.
The
Like
dress was gorgeous.
I want hair and all. I want that exact look, that exact outfit.
I
Like,
did
You
not
want to fit her
expect.
clientele.
they're like,
True.
this is her episode. We're gonna make her look fierce as hell. Like,
I did not expect her to prefer her bald, because I'm not usually a bald kind of person. But then when she had hair, I was like, "Ugh, what is this?"
it's because she needed hair for the potion. What else was she gonna do? Do an eyelash?
Oh my God, you're right. Whatever. That's fake
They
hair.
were
I
like,
don't- whatever.
wait, we planned
Whatever.
for a hair potion. Like, we're gonna have to. We didn't expect you to come in buzzed.
I will say, I think Agatha looked the best because she did look like Big Little Lies. The others, besides, what is her name? We were just talking about her, the previous bald lady, Jennifer.
Quinn?
I think those two looked like Big Little Lies. I think everyone else looked like a golf course user.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Teen was very much giving my dad as a lawyer.
Oh my
I
God.
hate
My
it.
dad is my lawyer. His dad can be my lawyer. But yeah, I wasn't crazy about his look. I actually prefer his gothy look. But
Same.
no, I just like Jennifer Kale. I also just the practical effects of all of their face swelling was. I want you to rewatch it, and for those of you that know who Trinity the Tuck is, Deborah Jo Rupp. As soon as she turns around, that's all I could see. She looks exactly like Trinity the Tuck. Exactly.
That was my thought too.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, oh my gosh, we have the Twitters on the show. Yay.
Yes.
I just Googled it, and you're 100% right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's who they took. And she's trying to get more work done too. But no, it was. I love this episode so much, mostly because this was the episode that we've seen the least amount of. Like, going into the first two, I felt like I had watched both episodes before
Yeah,
they
the
dropped from
trailers.
so much, because obsessively diving into trailers. But I felt
Yeah.
like they did keep a little bit more from this one. So I actually enjoyed this one the most out of the three. One, because you get to see the full Coven in action. Two, just because it felt more fresh. Like, I was waiting last week to get to stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because usually when it's a Disney Plus Marvel show, they post a preview the day before, the clip.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I was like, yesterday, I was like, oh, I guess they're just not doing that now. I think they're learning, which God bless, how much yelling does it take? But I think they are, because I didn't know what was going to happen in this episode. And I actively look out spoilers because I have a problem.
They
But I
did
I
have
enjoyed
a
it.
clip of some plastic surgery stuff, didn't they?
They put out a very, very short clip of Hart turning around and her face being all botched, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
But we have Tom in the chat. We have speaking of hair, did you notice when Agatha was being honest, her hair was out of her face, and when she was lying, her face was half of her face was covered.
Yeah,
which I thought she was doing
because she was.
Way you couldn't see she wasn't swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I took from it. He
She was
says,
like,
anyone
"Yeah,
noticed?
I'm totally."
Yeah, he says,
And then she
anyone
started
noticed?
choking on the mouth.
I'm gonna try one more time, guys. I swear to God.
Sorry,
He says,
man.
"I know you're fine. You're fine. I'm the worst. I've cut all of you off today. I'm not
Do
gonna
it. Just
apologize
do
because
it.
it's gonna happen again." So,
Yeah.
anyone notice the road leading to the Real Housewife trial house? The roots and leaves are blue, as in the water, and now everything is red. Tom, I just said this.
Maybe he
Oh,
joins.
this is the first
He's-
time hearing this, and I love that theory.
Oh, it's such a good theory, Tom. But yes, I thought I was the only one that noticed, and I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, yeah." Tom,
Yeah,
over it.
I also kind of like the feel of it's almost like walking through a haunted house because they're down one path. They got to keep going down all these trials.
I also love the escape room vibes. When that oven just went, because I used to work in an escape room.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome that it was just, all right, puzzle is solved. Gong, gong. You all can leave now. Timer's out.
I thought I was the only one that picked up on that. I was like, this should be an escape room. And my husband's like,
I
Megan,
would
just
pay
stop
very much
talking
money.
now. Yeah.
I think there should be a haunted house thing where you have to keep going through mini escape rooms now.
Ooh.
I would pay for it. I would pay a lot. And Disney, you got that money. Do it.
Yeah, like just one haunted trail you go down, and every so often there's a little escape room you got to figure out.
See, with my dumbass though, the group would be, or the next group would be waiting on me to finish because it was great working in them, and I've done quite a few escape rooms, but I haven't done them in a very long time. It would take me the full hour, and the other group would just be going.
Well, maybe it would take you down a different path if you didn't get it in time.
Oh.
Or they would just actually murder you if you didn't get the
So
puzzle.
you could do different
Escape
things
room,
if
the
you figured
movie.
it out.
Yeah, you got to just do a disclaimer.
Wasn't there a horror movie that wasn't an escape room?
There've been what, 2 of those now?
Yeah, there are 2.
We've watched both of them together. I think.
Yeah,
at least one of them.
those were good.
I just.
Are
Really
you
like
sure? Are you sure
The
they
first
were
one's
good?
better.
Because you didn't remember you watched it.
It's coming back to you know. It's all coming back.
But think about, we watch so many movies and TV shows, like both for coverage and for not coverage. Like we watch a lot of stuff. Like we go to the movies like every 2 weeks, and it's just and I'm old. My memory's not what it used to be. Tom says, I think there's a delay in chat for Facebook. Probably, honestly.
I'm trying to see if there is, because now I really want to know.
Type something.
I did. All right. Now I look
Let's
weird.
count.
There is a delay because it's not there. All right.
Yep.
That's okay.
17
As long as it
minutes.
happens.
That's true. We will still address it when we get there. Let's see a couple more before we go. We now know that each trial of the Witch's Road challenges a different element of witchcraft based on each type of witch in the coven, which could be debated. We've already talked about, but not when I wrote this outline. If your trial on the road was based on your specialty or just something you're good at, what would your trial look like?
Like what the challenge would be or what our skill would be?
Yes.
However you interpret that question. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, your trial would kind of be based off what your skill is. So
Yeah.
it's kind of answering both.
But it can be like a witchy skill. It can be a normal life skill. It can be, I woke up today almost on time type of skill. Whatever you got.
I think I'm gonna go with divination too, because I like doing a good tarot reading. I did end up eventually getting all the cards, so I enjoy a good tarot reading. But if it's like a real life skill, it would be No. Give me a second for my real life one, but that's my
Okay.
answer.
Okay. What about you, Megan?
So there's a delay if you
Yeah, it
from
finally
a
just
shared
popped up.
video. Oh, this is the one I just sent, but there's no delay from the Bleeding Rainbow Comics page. So if you're watching this, make sure you're on Facebook at Bleeding Rainbow Comics and like them, and then so you can be notified when this happens again.
Well, thank
There you
you.
go.
You're better at
I'm-
shout-outs than I am.
I'm a really good fighter, so it would be
I
something
can
about that.
tell.
What? My God, so nice. I
Yours
love
is
fighting.
just a cage match.
Ugh, I want to fight someone so bad. It's been too
What
long.
like
You
combat
can
do
fight
you
me.
do?
You would win, probably.
I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, and
Are
I
Are you
fought.
actually?
Yeah. I learned
Huh.
it. I lived in South Korea at one point, and that's the national sport. So
Huh.
all of us are.
Who are
Interesting.
you?
My
Wow.
parents
Real
were
mystery.
my dad was military, so that kind of comes with
Okay.
it. Yeah. So
Huh,
I've
awesome.
fought
That's cool.
ever since, and I'm just looking for someone who wants to fight back, and it's been unsuccessful.
Do you like the Craigslist classifieds, but instead of hooking up, it's fight me, bitch? Like-
I might as well at this point. I mean, there's dating apps. Why can't there be like fighting? It's so fun.
I mean,
It's just-
some would argue that those are the same thing.
I think you just
Like-
True.
reinvented Fight Club. I think that's just what you're on the road to doing.
I want a female fight club so bad. Oh, what about you guys?
now that-
What would be
now that
yours?
Megan-
that hasn't been a remake yet.
Now that Megan's a psycho, what would your trial be based on or look like? Or what do you got? It can't be better than Megan's anyway, so go for it.
I think it
I
could
mean,
be.
art is a real
Yeah.
skill for me. So I would think that my trial would probably have something to do with illusion or something
Okay.
like that.
That's a great one.
You gotta do face paint of some sort.
Oh my gosh, like PETA
Well,
and
like just-
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You would have to do art to survive somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
Yeah. Probably
perfect.
something like chasing me or something. I gotta camouflage, kind of like PETA in Hunger Games.
The only thing I'm not absolutely awful at is music, so mine would have to be something music based. I don't know if it's like if I sing the wrong note, I just get electrocuted or something, or like my friends and family get electrocuted if I mess up. Or my biggest thing is when I'm on stage and I get nervous,
Mhm.
the words are the first thing that I should be concerned about. So I'm gonna say I have to do like a finish the lyric type of game show, and which would be my biggest nightmare because I actually
mean-
know none of the words to any songs. I just go and riff over top of them.
And
Oh my
that'd be
God,
an
same.
interesting.
And
Yeah,
so
same.
every time I messed up, somebody that I cared about would just die.
That'd be an interesting.
Everybody would be
visual
dead.
for it.
We're gonna
Yeah.
miss
Like,
Gwen
it'd be
so
like a
much.
He would be the first to go.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Finn,
man.
would you like another edition or?
I'd say okay, this is oddly specific to TikTok, but there's like that
Wonderful.
color differentiation game where you are like supposed to tell like which one is slightly off color, and I'm
Yeah.
never wrong.
That's
So
a good one.
it would be the same thing as yours, where if I mess up, got myself. If I mess up, somebody I care about gets hurt, but that will
There
never
we
happen
go.
because I'm good at it.
I will say this is by far the darkest Coven Chat so far.
There's only been two.
It's only because of Finn.
I'm sorry.
But
It only gets darker from here.
talking of murder and all right.
Yay.
And very last question, and then after this question, we're going to do sign-offs. Which Coven member, and this one's way easier, which Coven member can you relate to the most and why? Or just, you don't have to do the why or whatever. It's up to you.
It might be too early to tell. Maybe.
Mhm.
Because like we know somewhat of their story. We know a little bit, but we don't know like them. We just know how they act with each other. Like we haven't seen them one-on-one. We kind of know Alice. She's
Yeah.
pretty sad, but it looks like she just wants a friend. We don't know much about the other two. We know Agatha, so I'm gonna say Agatha. I want to be Agatha.
Just because you're the HBIC.
That's what I want. You know, like I strive for it every day.
Tom
I'm
says he
also-
auditioned for Don't Forget the Lyrics and it's a long story. So we're gonna have to get that from him from the mid-season Coven
Next
Chat.
time, yeah.
I
next
think he's
time
gonna be
Tom
there in
comes
2
on-
episodes.
Oh, good. Next time Tom comes on, I demand that story because I need to know.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's just gonna be the whole video. Actually, it's gonna be called Coven Chat, but it's just gonna be the time Tom auditioned for Don't Forget the Lyrics.
Love it.
I think I would relate most to Teen just because of how obsessive he is over witchcraft. And
Okay.
like I am always the outside person looking in, I feel like. And so I really relate to that. Like I've always wanted to be witchy and like I'm a gay from small town America. Yes, I want to be a witch. But no, I think that just how much he wants to be something special, I think I relate to. And if nobody else has anything, we can always recycle this question for a few episodes from now. I just thought it would be.
What if we kept it going? Like the more we learn from them, does your
Would it
answer
change?
change? Do you find something else in someone else you relate to? I kind of like that as a continuation.
I do
I like
too.
that. So on
Yeah.
Mondays, I'm more of a Joe Locke character, and on Fridays, I'm just totally done with all of my students, and I'm like, I'm Agatha. I'm ready.
I would say you're
Yeah.
Kitty Hart because
I
you're like,
was
I'm
gonna
so
say
done.
that.
We just get each other.
But then I would die
hope
by
this
the end
is
of the
the right way.
episode.
I was
But
gonna
don't
pick
do that.
Kitty Hart.
you would be Mrs. Hart.
There's a little
You-
kitty in all of us.
You would be the one to
Phrasing.
drink all of the wine, even knowing it was poison. You're like, well, if I'm gonna die, this is gonna be how I'm gonna go.
True.
Hero.
Amazing.
All right. Well, before we go, I would like to give y'all an opportunity to plug yourself, give whatever you're doing. Where should people go find you at? And I encourage all of these wonderful people to go find you at those places. So let's do same order. Megan, go for it.
You can follow me at Vigilante Vibes Podcast. That's the name on every social media website. And we give you all the Marvel stuff in a non-toxic way. You can also check me out at nerdinitiative.com for all comics and other reviews and comics. So there you go. I got nervous halfway
Yes.
through.
You got nervous. You're on camera more than any of us, I'm pretty sure.
I know. And it's still like you get through it and you're like, oh my God, words don't work today. And then you're like, yeah, I might as
Same.
well.
For anybody that wants a good example of that, go watch my last sign off from Coven Chat. But Finn, what about you?
You can follow me at starlet.mua. I'm a drag queen who periodically talks about random shit, but also hoping to go live more with this Agatha season. So come check me out. Really fun makeup looks, chaos, all that good stuff. And words also don't work for me, so that's really fun.
Yay.
I
it's not
expect
just me.
more witchy looks, more witchy makeup, more witchy
Absolutely.
outfits.
Oh yeah. Oh, I do
and-
31 days of Halloween. I do 31 days of Halloween makeup. So tune in for that if that's
Okay.
your vibe.
I'm so
Yes.
down.
And if it's not, tune in for it anyways, and it will become one. And for Bleeding Rainbow Comics, I'm LJ.
I win.
Thanks for coming to our second Coven Chat. If you like this, or if you didn't, you're still welcome to come. Please check out our next live chat next Thursday at 7 p.m. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Maybe.
All right.